It's just been reported that a high-end prostitution ring in Brooklyn, New York has been busted after police have been attempting to shut down that business for the past 2 years. And when I say high-end, I'm not exaggerating here. Some of the clientele paid up to $3,600 an hour, and police are now giving details that a few people even shelled out $10,000 for a whole night's worth of entertainment.
Did it empower you? Did prostitution empower you?
Yeah, I felt that it did.
Would you go back to it?
I would do it again. I think I'm possibly a tiny bit too old and overweight for the sort of work I was doing then. But yeah, if I could go back in time, if I got in the TARDIS and went back to 2003, I would make that choice again.
Women in the sex industry are entrepreneurs and should be granted the same rights as workers in any other field. Legalizing prostitution would help protect sex workers from the abuse and exploitation that now permeates the sex industry.
Fuck what people think about me, fuck what people have to say about me, you know? I'm not out here for them. Ain't nobody putting money in my pocket, ain't nobody doing nothing for me, you know?
I think it's all crazy.
There are all kinds of gigs in the world, and some people do enjoy giving their bodies to men, and for some folks it is a lifestyle, and it makes a lot of sense for them.
And it enables them to support their family.
But just like you said, there's...
And tomorrow's not promised to anybody. Ain't no guarantee you coming home tonight. And I know girls who didn't come back home. Not everybody makes it out of that lifestyle.
Well, the court in Bexar County, Texas has acquitted a man who killed an escort who wouldn't have sex with him. His lawyers argued that it was legitimate under the Texas state law because she wouldn't refund his money.
Throughout history, they have been known by many titles: comfort girls, harlot, courtesan, scarlet woman, ladies of the night, escorts, call girls, streetwalkers, go-getters, hookers, and hoes. All those promiscuous titles lead to one basic definition: prostitute, a woman that has sex for money. Prostitution has been titled the world's oldest profession. If this is true, then it is ridiculous for anyone, anywhere, to ever think it will stop. From the day a woman is a young girl, she is being groomed to find what is titled a good man. The description of this good man often comes with only one requirement: a man with money. In the year of 2013, the growth of this profession has reached record heights and only seem to be growing. More women are turning down the traditional occupations to earn a living for themselves for the more flexible and what some would call easy and lucrative trade of prostitution. And many are succeeding. Luxury cars, luxury homes, exotic trips, and for many normal occupations, this will take a lifetime to achieve, if ever. But for a prostitute, much of this can be acquired by the ripe age of 21. Here is the story of prostitution in America.
Suck a dick for an outfit, you know what I mean? For outfits, and more outfits, and more outfits. You know what I'm saying? People straight too, though. You know what I'm talking about?
You don't think, if a woman doesn't think she's attractive, and she going on a track every night making $400, $500, $600, $700, $800, $1,200 a night, men just pulling over back to back, offering her money to have sex, what do you think that does for her self-esteem?
Yeah, boosts it up.
Mm-hmm. The first time someone offered me some money and I made the money I made within a short period of time, I couldn't believe it, that there were actually men that would pay for pussy. And there's so many women that give it away. You couldn't have made me believe that you could make that kind of money selling pussy.
What was you doing before you got into the game?
Stripping, dancing.
You don't dance no more?
No, I'm full-fledged hoe now. My daddy brought me up out of that and made me 100% who I am today.
You happier now?
Happy?
Happier.
I mean lady. Past happy.
Why would a man want to pay for it when you can go get it for nothing? Now maybe you can't get it from those girls from nothing. I've heard Chippendale dancers, you know, be like, man, what you doing down here? You could probably, you know, sleep with anybody you wanted to. It's exciting, it's taboo. It's something I'm not supposed to do.
Shit, I feel good. I feel good getting that money. That's what I feel good. So I like.
What was you doing before you got into this?
Shit, that little square job, you know what I'm talking about? I was a manager at Chipotle, doing that, but now I'm doing it big.
I was going to school every day, you know what I'm saying?
trying to get a job, but couldn't even get that, you know what I'm saying? Shit, the bitch was walking down the street reading the book, though. That's how I got fucking turned out. Well, shit, what I expect to get out the game is, you know what I'm saying, about being a super hoe, you know what I'm saying, being a real ass hoe. That's what I expect to be out the game.
A super hoe?
Yep, super hoe.
What's a super hoe?
A super hoe is, you know, you get out there, you make that money, you know what I'm saying, nothing, you know what I'm saying, nothing, just making the money, you know what I'm saying, get the dough, you know what I'm saying, just get it, you know what I'm saying, it's all you do, get the money, you know what I'm saying.
Would you say that the chicks that are giving it away for free, do you think that they're less than those that is selling it?
I have no respect for them whatsoever. None. There are women who sell it to take care of their children. There are women who sell it to give to a man. If you just going around and laying down and open your legs just to be opening them, and it's going to sound crazy, you don't have any self-respect for yourself.
Prostitution is legal in Brazil, but an ad campaign was just pulled that was designed to reduce discrimination against them, as well as focus on practicing safe sex. Now,
was this just because I'm here? I'm like,
yes, in part.
I'm getting a little personal about this prostitution.
You are from Brazil, where prostitution is legal.
Where are we going with this?
No, we're going to say, how do you feel about it?
What does the ad say, first of all? Can you guys put it back up? Because it's in Spanish. Okay, this actually has been banned. This was actually a health from the government. They made this thing to stop people from being sort of against prostitutes, which was actually okay, because if they exist and it's legal, you should accept that. But that was banned. They couldn't do it. We had a whole show about this. And I had a prostitute in my show. In fact, I have many, but this was she made sure we knew she was a prostitute. And she was a teacher. She studied languages, and she actually a Portuguese teacher, very pretty, and she said she likes to be a prostitute, and which I couldn't understand why.
And would she, if her daughter wanted to do this, would she encourage her daughter to be a prostitute?
First of all, she said, I said, listen, you could make a lot of money, you study, she's very pretty, and because you always think a prostitute would be from a battered family or being abused. That's the idea I had.
But
well,
there
she said, no,
a lot of them are not.
Some people are getting the argument. Some people say it would be less so if it were legalized.
Well, it's legal in Brazil, and believe me, there are a lot of them.
But I want to know, did you ask her the question of if she had a daughter?
I did. She said she wouldn't mind.
She wouldn't mind if
she
her daughter was a
practiced
prostitute.
safe sex? No, she's a prostitute. She likes it. She said she likes the hunky-punky.
You know, I know what she says. I just have a different feeling as a mother, as an aunt, as we all are. I would have a very hard time encouraging my daughter, you don't want to be a nurse, you want to be a teacher, to go and sleep with men and give your body to a bunch of men for money, whether it was legal or illegal. I would have a very hard time encouraging her to do that, because I think it just pulls from you.
But what if she believed that was right for her?
Well, if she believes, you mean her daughter?
No, she believes it's right for her. Why wouldn't she believe it was right for the... I think it's all crazy.
There are all kinds of gigs in the world, and some people do enjoy giving their bodies to men, and for some folks it is a lifestyle, and it makes a lot of sense for them.
And it enables them to support their family.
But just like you said, there's a lot of women, when I said there's a lot of women who do come from homes who've been, you know, in really terrible situations, who are prostitutes, and you said there are a lot of them that aren't. I'm just going, I'm talking about those women. You know, it's just, my mind cannot wrap itself around the fact that there's women who are damaged, who are prostitutes, and that's what they wanted to be in their life, to give their bodies to slimy men for money.
Well, if they do,
you're making a big generalization here,
because we just
assuming that all the men who use prostitutes are slimy. See, I think there's a lot of men who use prostitutes because that's easier for them. It's no fuss, no muss. It's not a relationship that's going to develop. There's a lot of different reasons.
But we just talked about
the big question, and it's something that you've talked that is legal in Brazil and in a couple of other states. Is it not in this country?
In some parts of Vegas, it's legal.
Some parts of Nevada. Since it exists and has existed for all time, should it be legalized?
Well,
if this is what a woman wants to do, should it be legalized? That is a question that's still being examined, and so far we have not said
yes. There was a 79-year-old man who got his picture posted. I wouldn't want to be sleeping with him for money.
No, well, you
remember that guy?
You wouldn't have to.
Many will argue that prostitutes are fallen women, unintelligent and unloved. The occupation is dangerous, and more than often, most women will see their fate by death or simply coming up missing. This assumption is based upon statistics that show a high percentage of women that choose to be prostitutes become addicted to drugs, end up in prison, ridiculed by the public and the media, diseased, terrorized by men, and eventually end up broke.
For some time now, prostitution has been regarded as something of a lower-class profession, but a string of high-profile news stories has thrown a surprising new light on women who work in the sex trade. A rising number of middle-class girls are turning to prostitution as a way to make a living, and one former brothel owner told us nurses and care workers are often the most successful.
However, the average woman going to college to pay for an education to get a job will suffer economic stress to pay back college loans and acquire the American dream. They may encounter unloyal activity from their soon-to-be divorced husband that patronized prostitutes, domestic violence, and ultimately unhappiness. When you weigh the pros and the cons of the two lifestyle choices, if you are one of the fortunate few, it is easy to see prostitution appears to be a smarter choice.
A Minnesota high school cheerleader is accused of pimping out a younger member of the squad. Hopkins senior Montia Parker was arrested for sex trafficking and promoting prostitution. 18-year-old Parker created an online ad for her fellow 16-year-old squad member on Backpage.com to earn money. The ad showed the victim's picture with Parker's phone number. Parker used the girl to make money and pocketed at least $60 on one occasion. Parker pretended to be the girl's mother to dismiss her from school and drive her to different locations to perform oral sex. But when the topic of actual sex came up, the 16-year-old girl refused, and then her mother found text messages from Parker and reported her to the police. Parker is free on a $50,000 bond. Minneapolis police say this is the first time they have seen a teen prostituting a teen.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of squares that live better than what I live, you know, or than a lot of people that's in this game live, you know. So, I mean, if I ain't gonna do it and do it right, I might as well go get me a 9 to 5, you know, or do something totally different than what I'm doing instead of playing with myself, you know.
How well do you do here in Vegas?
I do pretty good. I mean, when I first got, I've been out here 5 years, so, but when I first got out here, I was doing really good.
Yeah. What's really good? Like, what's it
like? I would have 25 a night, maybe 2 Gs, 15, you know. So I'll be doing really good, you know. Now it's like I can't go inside nowhere, you know. So I'm outside, you know, burnt out, you know.
For people that ain't never been to Vegas and don't know, so basically the casinos is the primary place where you can work and get money, but you saying basically you've been kicked out of all of the casinos.
Kicked out, yes.
So you can't go in the casinos to work?
Nowhere. I'm talking about security, not my first and last name. Shit.
So when you think about how much money's been given and how much time you spent, what kind of feelings and thoughts come up in your mind?
Basically, you know, like, I wish I had this mind frame when I first stepped into the game because I wouldn't be so burnt out, you know, because after working for so long and, I mean, every day, you know, you burn yourself out, you know. You get to the point where, like, damn, you know, I should have been retired by now, you know.
Right.
Shit.
You feel tired now?
Yeah, you know, but I have no choice. I mean, I already done fucked off, you know, this long, so I might as well go hard and get it, you know. Get it while I can, shit.
Let me ask you a question. If you wasn't doing this, what would you be doing?
If I wasn't doing this, what would I be doing? I don't know, probably have a 9 to 5, basically, you know.
Have you ever thought about just quitting this shit?
Sometimes, yeah, because I, like, you know, I know squares that, you know, have better shit than what the fuck I got, you know, so. I mean, if I'm playing with it, ain't no point in putting myself out here like this, risking my life, and, you know, and I ain't getting shit out of it.
What are your plans for the future now?
Basically just to, you know, while I'm out here, you know, get it. I'm trying not to be out here no longer than a year, you know, and then, you know, just have me a little 9 to 5, you know, but I want to be set for life, though, you know, but I still want to do what my heart desires, you know. So, basically, I mean, I want to work with children, you know. So, you know, like from the ages of 13 to 18, you know. particularly
makes you feel that way?
females. Because I was a child when I got involved in this shit, and as a child, if I would have known the seriousness, you don't know, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. You don't understand any, to you it's just fun, So, I mean, if I could help a child to avoid what I went through, then I would rather do that, Yeah, I mean, all hell's gonna come to them what they deserve, for real, because that shit just ain't right. You taking away a child's innocence, their childhood, and that's fucked up, for real.
Are there a lot of guys to deal with underage women?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, basically, I don't understand what a grown-ass man would want in a juvenile bitch, I mean, an underage female, what could she do for you? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Between 2003 and 2007, working out of Oklahoma City, the FBI conducted the first widespread human trafficking operation in the United States. Operation Stormy Nights resulted in the conviction of 15 pimps and human traffickers working throughout the American Midwest. Most of the traffickers' victims were young teenage girls.
We pull up at a truck stop, and it's like an alley just right on the other side of this fence. He tells us to get out. He tells us what kind of prices we're gonna charge and exactly what we're gonna do. My friend just kind of looks at me, and she's kind of preparing me with her eyes, and then I was just kind of like, I can help you if you help me, and maybe he won't kill us tonight. So we get out of the car, and he informed us we better not come back without any money. We're walking around, there's lots of semis, and there's also a lot of girls out there, and a lot of them are they look like half our age. They look like they could be like 8 or 9 years old. So we go, and we're knocking on doors, and we just try to keep smiling, just try to pretend that I wanted to be there, and maybe I could just convince myself that maybe this will lead to something better, and maybe I'm seeing it wrong. And once we got inside the bed of the truck, I started to just wish I was just dead or something. We get in the first truck, and the guy decides he wants me, so I go back there, and I just have to just pray to God, just please help me, just please let me get through it. And then Melissa went through his wallet, and he had grandkids as old as us. And all I could think about the whole time was how my grandpa could be this guy right now, and how that would feel. And I just wanted to die.
When I was out there, like I told you before, I don't even know why I did what I did. I can tell you now why I did what I did, because I now have that knowledge. But back then, I couldn't tell you why I did what I did. Don't have a clue. There was ass whoopings. I've been shot by my man. This is from my man. That's a boxer's wound. I've got a place in my leg where you can actually feel the indentation of the muscle where I was hit with a metal pole. I've been beat so bad in my face that a whole block away could see me coming. I can remember that night when my man rode the track because he thought I was going to leave after the whooping I got, talking about, you need to put some more makeup on your face. I can see you a block away. Well, guess what? Wasn't no more makeup going to cover it. But yet and still, I stayed. I still went to work.
In 2013, with the use of online websites that can be used legally to promote prostitution, it has made it even easier for more women to become a prostitute without being an actual streetwalker. Now women can be ordered online or over the phone as easy as ordering a pizza. You pick the toppings and she is delivered to you in less than 30 minutes. With options like these readily available, women are literally waiting in line to become prostitutes. But in the desperation to make money, phone calls are not properly screened, so they will ignore police operation stings and disregard the pitfalls. So tragedy happens all too often at the hands of customers, also known as tricks and johns.
Well, the court in Bexar County, Texas has acquitted a man who killed an escort who wouldn't have sex with him. His lawyers argued that it was legitimate under the Texas state law because she wouldn't refund his money. Ezekiel Gilbert admitted that on Christmas Eve back in 2009, he shot Lenora Frago, a 23-year-old escort he met through Craigslist. Now, he claims that she came into his house for an amount of time and that he paid her $150, but she left without having the sex that he had expected. Well, according to the testimony she got in her car, she gave the money to the driver with what Gilbert's lawyers characterized as an accomplice in the scam, and he shot into the car, hitting her in the back of the neck. Well, get this, Texas law allows the use of deadly force to recover property during a nighttime theft. And Gilbert's lawyers successfully argued that when she refused to have sex and didn't give him a refund, she was stealing his money. Prosecutors try to contend that the law concerning theft can only be applied to law-abiding citizens and that the man insisting his escort provide sex just doesn't fall in that category. A homicide detective also testified that in Gilbert's initial interview, he never mentioned a theft. Well, the jury, however, believed Gilbert's claim that he'd never intended to kill Frago, and in fact, she did remain alive but paralyzed after the shooting. She died from complications arising from paralysis 7 months later. And now Ezekiel Gilbert is a free man.
I wrote a book at the leading of the Lord, and it's entitled, "The Devil Can Delay, But He Cannot Take Away." And I allowed the devil, the enemy, to delay me 44 years to keep me from getting to my purpose and my destiny. Because the Bible will tell you that the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And I have seen many lives destroyed. We don't all make it out of the game. There are so many landmines, and we don't even know where they are. There's drugs, there's death, there's jail, there's prison. I relived my life in my book, and the Lord had to show me everywhere that He spared me. The Bible says that we are a chosen generation, that we have been hand-picked. Not all of us has the same favor with the Lord. Not all of us is anointed as, you know, his favor isn't fair. It says it in the Bible. And you don't have to apologize for the anointing and the favor that He has given your life, because God knows who He can use. He knows who He can trust. And I relived my life in that book. And God showed me everywhere that He saved my life. And that little voice that I used to hear, that I thought was that sixth sense, that wasn't me, that was the Lord. Did He mean for me to be on the street? No. But God gives us free will. And because I chose to go that path, because I chose to live that lifestyle, He allowed me to be there. But His hand was on me the whole time. And how do I know that? Because I made it out. And there's girls who didn't.
News 4 at 5 o'clock in high definition.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Mark Cox. Hundreds of area men who hired a local prostitute may have been knowingly or unknowingly exposed to the HIV virus. This woman, 20-year-old Nagala Gibbs, is now in custody, and the search for her customers is on. Lori Waters is live in Clayton with more details. Lori?
Well, Mark, police have located two of the men who patronized Gibbs, and their potential exposure to HIV is the basis for these charges. It is against the law in Missouri to be positive for HIV and not tell your partner. Police say that Gibbs knew she was HIV positive and worked as a prostitute anyway. County police say Richmond Heights tipped them off to Gibbs, and they arrested her in an apartment in the 7100 block of Horner Avenue off McCausland on Wednesday after a sting operation. They say she also met clients at another apartment nearby on Bellevue, working steadily.
She's had 2 a day, 4 days a week for years.
Police say Nigella Gibbs had about 20 regular clients, but she also worked strolls in St. Louis City, along Grand, along parts of Chippewa, and on Cherokee Street. Police has cooperated in furnishing some client names, but there are plenty she can't remember.
There could be hundreds at this point.
The 2 clients whom police have identified aren't confirmed to have been infected with HIV, just exposed to it. Police don't know if any clients they find in the future will be infected, but they want them to know the potential.
We're hoping that anybody that's had any sexual contact with her, whether professionally or privately, that was unaware of that to contact St. Louis County Police.
And they also hope that those people tell their significant others about this potential exposure. They are not looking to charge any of the men at this time. Now, those clients did pay between $70 and $200 to Gibbs for her services, and now there is a fear they could pay an even higher price. Live in Clayton, Lori Waters, News 4.
Lori, thank you for that report. We wanted to find out more about the chances of those men becoming infected with HIV. The county health department tells us it's much more common for men to pass the virus to women than the other way around, but it is possible for a woman to infect a man. The county health department does offer free STD testing, including HIV.
Just because you've been exposed to HIV doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to acquire HIV. What we would recommend is that anyone who was exposed get tested within 3 months after the exposure. The average time for positive tests is about a month, but it could take up to 3 or 6 months. So I would recommend a month after exposure, then 3 months, and then 3 months after that.
The health department says if you have been exposed and are undergoing the testing, they tell people they should not have additional sex partners.
Nothing in life is guaranteed or promised, and because of this, the choice of becoming a prostitute is very tempting. To a young mind, it is very hard to convince them it is not. This has caused many families to lose their daughters, sisters, and even men have lost their wives. And even more so, it has caused many women to lose their minds. It was once said by a prostitute that every time she was with a customer, she lost part of herself. If a woman is not strong enough, after years of being in the lifestyle, she can lose herself completely. Some will argue that to be successful as a prostitute, a woman must possess a certain look, body type, or skin color, but nothing can be further from the truth. Prostitution, like any occupation, contains a certain IQ level to perform. The most important attribute a prostitute must possess to succeed in such a treacherous lifestyle is a strong mind. Otherwise, self-destruction is inevitable.
We all have gifts. First of all, for a female to be in that lifestyle, you have to be strong. I know the man that I was up under, the reason he ain't never had no white girls was because you had to be strong to stand up underneath him. I don't know a whole lot of strong white girls that would take the ass whoopings, would stay down 24/7. You know, you had to be strong. So first of all, you got to be strong to be there in the first place.
Ironic that you say that, because the stereotype is that women that work as prostitutes are not.
Their mind is weak.
Yeah, that's the common.
Their mind is weak. If it wasn't, how could he get it?
Exactly.
But you have to be strong to be there in the first place. I have a friend that
I agree with you, but that's what the common people will say.
There's a boldness. Got to be bold, stand out there in your underwear and everybody know what you're doing. In the middle of the road, flagging down cars. Hey, baby, you want a date? There's a boldness. But you have those gifts. Those are gifts. And you have those gifts to be used in other places. I used to see these little bitty girls. I'm not small. I used to see a girlfriend of mine that was murdered, 19 years old. I was in my 30s on the streets of New York. She got murdered. She's about 19 years old, about 100 pounds soaking wet. I used to tell her all the time, girl, you got the heart of a gunslinger. Anybody could just pick you up and do whatever they wanted with you. Not that they couldn't do the same for me, because I can remember being in Portland and getting in a man's car and he kept looking at me, and everywhere I told him to park, it wasn't cool enough. Finally, it was like, you know what, man, I ain't got time for this, drop me back off. He went back and picked up another little girl, a runaway actually, about 16 years old, raped her, sodomized her, took her money. When I seen her, when I came back from turning the date and I seen her, and I saw her looking all disheveled and she's crying, I'm like, girl, what happened? She said, did that man, what did he do to you? I said, girl, he didn't do nothing. I had him bring me back. And she asked him, did you do to her what you did to me? And he said, no. He wasn't sure he could handle me. That's what he told her. I didn't know if I could handle her. So he questioned because, so, you know, that little girl, you got the heart of a gunslinger to be out there. Because anything can happen to you. It ain't like your man there to protect you. So, you know, you strong. You just don't know it. Those are gifts. Bold, being strong, takes heart. And those gifts were given to you by the Lord himself. And he gave you those gifts to be used in other areas, not to be on the street.
Women in the sex industry are entrepreneurs and should be granted the same rights as workers in any other field. Legalizing prostitution would help protect sex workers from the abuse and exploitation that now permeates the sex industry.
That was Shannon Williams, the Berkeley, California high school teacher who was arrested on prostitution charges during a police sting operation last month. Ms. Williams has since entered a not guilty plea in Alameda County Superior Court. The arrest has opened up, believe it or not, a debate. Should a teacher be allowed to work as a prostitute if it's on their own private time? Joining me now to discuss the issue from San Francisco, sex educator Veronica Monet, and from Philadelphia, Executive Director of SALT, Gloria Parr. Let's start with Veronica. Veronica, should a person be able to be a prostitute and also teach our children? What's your view on that?
The Supreme Court just decided that the state should stay out of people's bedrooms. If it's private, adult, consensual sexual activity, it isn't anybody's business.
So, Veronica, you're saying that the person could be out selling their body, and you think that they can carry on the function as a teacher in the classroom. Don't you think the students would, you know, to put it mildly, lack a little credibility?
You know, that's the same argument that was used to keep gays from becoming teachers, and as we have found, it doesn't hold water.
All right, Gloria, your reaction. It's amazing to me we could have a debate on this subject, but what is your reaction to allowing a prostitute to teach her kids?
It amazes me that it's a debate also because, well, one thing, it's a legal activity. It's not illegal to be gay. It is illegal to be in the sex industry as a prostitute. Prostitution's been illegal in most of the United States since the existence, and the problem is if you have a teacher as a role model, breaking the law, one thing, that's the beginning of the issue, and then it gets even larger than that as far as what are you teaching your children to aspire to. We don't have athletes who are allowed to be role models anymore. Our parents are too much absent, and now you're telling us that the teachers, where they spend the most time in schools, that they're not supposed to be a role model to these kids. And I think it's outrageous to say it's nobody's business if a teacher's breaking the law, and that's just the beginning of the argument.
Gloria, if you had a son or a daughter that you put in school, and your kid was in school for about a month, and somebody came, and your kid came up and said, by the way, Mom, I just found out that my teacher is a prostitute, what would you do?
I would go directly to the teacher, for one thing. One thing is, as a woman, I really do care about other women exploiting themselves. They may not see it that way, but the bottom line is, to me, this is a feminist issue of caring about your identity. And your sexuality, first and foremost, has much to do with your identity, and to not cheapen your identity is essential. Not to cheapen your sexuality is essential, and we need to teach our kids this.
Go ahead, Veronica.
Yeah, taking the feminist platform when we know that your organization, SALT, is anti-abortion, anti-choice on every level. A feminist is for choice. It's for choice about whatever we want to do with our bodies. And if I want to get an abortion or I want to sell my body, that is my right
to live a life of dignity.
Prostitution is against the law, but I got to ask you this question. Let me ask this question. How could you actually believe that a person could be on a street corner selling their body, okay? Just to make money. Wait a minute, let me ask the question, I'll give you a chance to respond. Selling their body, having sex, and then walking into a classroom with 7-year-olds. How could you justify that?
First of all, let's approach the whole thing that this is illegal. First of all, you know, when Rosa Parks did not go to the back of the bus, she broke a law. It was a misdemeanor. She
Rosa Parks had to do with dignity.
Let her have her say. Let Veronica have her say. Go ahead, Veronica.
Yeah, thank you. Speaking of dignity, there are lots of sex workers who feel that their work has dignity, but that is their choice, and it has nothing to do with legislating religious values. We are not
nothing to do with religious values.
Let her finish.
Oh, yes, it is. You are saying that sex is wrong. That is your whole platform.
Veronica,
sex is not wrong. There are laws. There are laws against sodomy right now on the books on about 13 states in the U.S. So technically, gay teachers are breaking the law too.
Veronica,
but the Supreme Court just decided that you cannot legislate private adult consensual sexual behavior.
Let me tell you. First of all, it is against the law, and secondly, somebody that's selling their body for sex, you can't compare them to Rosa Parks. This is a lady that was fighting for civil rights, the ability to ride on a bus.
I'm fighting for civil rights too, and I'll compare it to Rosa Parks if I want to.
You've been a prostitute, okay? You've been a prostitute.
Yes, I have. 13 years.
A lot of people,
I've never worked a street corner, and neither has Shannon Williams.
A lot of people who are prostitutes, you know what the fact is? They do it to support. It's crazy. They're abusing their body, but they do it to support their drug.
Do you even know a prostitute?
If I were a prostitute,
do you know a prostitute
I don't know what I'd do. So why do you do it?
You can't make all those judgments about prostitution.
Yes, I can.
You know nothing about the industry.
Yes, I can. I certainly can decide.
No, you can't.
My body is not to be used.
You have never been a prostitute. You never worked as a prostitute. You're speaking for prostitutes.
Veronica, prostitutes who have spoken up have said that they are victims constantly. There's so much data out there that prostitutes are victims.
There are wives that are victims. That is no reason to outlaw marriage. Would you outlaw marriage and tell your daughters not to get married?
One short question for you. Have you ever read the Bible?
From cover to cover, have you?
And what does it, what does it say about prostitution?
It talks about killing the whore.
What it talks about is, you know what, you're not supposed to use your body for this.
Again, you are back at trying to legislate your religious values.
You know what?
This country
if you're talking about the Bible and you're talking about the whore, Jesus picked up and he said, let him who is without sin cast the first stone. The Bible spirit toward the whore, so to speak, is not one of killing. It is one of compassion.
It is for the first part of the Old Testament. Do you know what? I'm not here to argue religion. I'm here to argue for the fact that keep your religion out of our laws.
What we're arguing about is we are, in a sense, arguing religion. And let me conclude by saying this.
This all comes from your Bible. You just brought up the Bible. How could you say this isn't about religion?
Because, Veronica, I'll tell you why. Because when we put people in the classroom to teach our children, we expect them to hold a set of values that we've embraced in this country.
You have used that argument for years to keep gays out of the educational system.
And you know what, Veronica? The only advice I have for you is stop being a prostitute. Veronica and Gloria, thanks for coming on.
I mean, but there's a lot of money out here, you know what I mean? So I'm not saying I made the most money. I mean, there's going to be a time where I make a lot. I might make 30 in one night, you know what I mean? You got to find that boss-ass trick. You gotta act like his girlfriend, you know what I mean? Some of these chicks, you know what I mean, want somebody to be their companion for like a night. You gotta know how to act. You know what I mean? Certain tricks are just a one-timer when you can actually get a real fucking trick. You know what I mean? A bona fide trick, like balling, these high rollers.
Tell us a little bit about that. You said you gotta learn how to act like their girlfriend when you with them.
Mm-hmm. Some of these chicks don't want a bitch to just be a hooker. They know what's going on, but they don't want that. They want
you to trick them.
Yeah. They want you to, like, you know what I mean? When you're with them, make them feel like you're the fucking girlfriend. They might have a family, and they're tired of that shit, and they want somebody that they can, you know, make them feel like, wow, I feel young again. Or, wow, you know what I mean? I want to spend time with this girl. I want to spend money on this girl. This girl makes me feel like Superman over here. You know what I mean? And they're the ones that we all want. Really, I mean, I would. You know what I mean? Some of these bitches just want a trick for, you know, $500. That's all I want. You know, I'm happy. I broke them. No, man, you want that one trick that you can always call, even when you're down and out. You know what I mean? If you need something, hey, he gonna come or send you money or whatever, whatnot.
As the saying goes, everybody needs somebody. The life of a prostitute can be very lonely. But many times when a relationship is built with the prostitute, many men find themselves in for more than what they bargained for. Jealousy has caused normal men to kill over these women. Subliminal, barbaric, animalistic, unconventional reasoning have led to wars in the streets. Now with the new laws being passed daily all over the country, prostitution is no longer a simple misdemeanor crime. Felonies like human trafficking and kidnapping that once applied to underage women are now being used in courtrooms to prosecute anyone that deals with prostitution at any age on any level. And the conviction rate is skyrocketing.
Thanks for being with us. I'm Paul Johnson.
And I'm Denise Valdez. Moments of terror and panic on the Strip as gunfire tears into a car, causing a chain reaction of a 6-car fiery crash.
3 people are dead and several others are injured. This is eyewitness video captured moments after a taxi cab exploded in flames after a Maserati crashed into it. The investigation shut down the Strip for hours and it remains closed now.
We're learning that the driver of that Maserati who was shot and killed is now confirmed to be aspiring rapper Kenny Cherry Jr., who also goes by Kenny Clutch, who sources tell us is a well-known pimp in the Valley. We've just talked to his father, and he tells us the family is, of course, devastated. Several people are posting to Twitter and Facebook today saying, "Rest in peace, Kenny Clutch." According to his Facebook page, he was from Oakland, California, but was currently living here in Las Vegas. This YouTube video shows Clutch driving down the Strip during one of his songs.
New at 3:30, a 48-year-old Las Vegas man will spend the rest of his life in prison after being convicted on more than 20 felony charges. Raymond Christopher Sharp was given 3 life terms. Sharp was arrested a year ago after assaulting a woman, and a search of his home turned up evidence of a prostitution operation. He was convicted of battery with a deadly weapon and living off the earnings of a prostitute. Metro says his long sentence should send a clear message to Southern Nevada pimps.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks, Joe. A Las Vegas pimp was sentenced today for terrorizing women and threatening them and their families with violence.
Ocean Fleming will spend between 18 years up to life in prison for kidnapping, assault with a deadly weapon, and trafficking women. The case took a year to put together because many of his victims were too frightened to testify. Then a break came when one of Fleming's victims called police after a violent incident in 2011 that happened in Rhodes Ranch. Joe Bartels filed this report before going on that breaking news.
911 emergency. I'm having an emergency. Go, just go that way. Don't open it, please. Please, go.
Metro's Vice Unit says this 911 call was placed by a woman trying to escape from Ocean Fleming. Fleming dragged her out of a car and then kidnapped her.
Very, very violent individual, very abusive, and pretty cunning.
That's how detectives describe the convicted pimp. Metro's Vice Unit says Fleming had been on their sex trade radar for more than a year.
As so many of these types of criminals will, get to know them, wine them, dine them, treat them like princesses, and then ultimately switch over everything and put them out to go work as prostitutes in our valley.
He trafficked women, beat them, and forced them to have sex and would live off the profits.
The people that he's victimized, the families that he has tormented, he didn't go easy on them. He didn't give them a second chance. He didn't have any consideration for, for what any of these victims' mothers or fathers were going through as he was pandering them.
Police say Ocean made no attempts to cover up his illegal lifestyle. He's seen in this YouTube video called Real Pimp Talk One-on-One, bragging about it. Eventually, police say 5 victims broke the cycle of violence and came forward to testify against Fleming. Detectives hope it sends a message.
We will do everything that we can, no matter how long we work or how hard we have to work, to make sure that they are safe while we go after the people that are threatening or hurting them.
Joe Bartels, 8 News Now.
Fleming's history with Metro dates back 16 years. He's been arrested in the past for attempted murder, home invasion, intimidating a witness, and dozens of other charges. Fleming told the court today he felt prosecutors were malicious and over-aggressive handling his case and sentencing.
Yeah. He said, hold on, he's trying to... Go ahead. Hey, go ahead, O. I got you.
Yeah, it's a bunch of niggas out there that you fuck with, my nigga, that's really running around fucking with them bitches. That know how foul them bitches is, my nigga. That's why the niggas out there, my niggas, they gotta really watch them niggas, because, hey, like they said, my nigga, more niggas calling down here on that nigga than bitches did, my nigga. You feel me? Like...
So right now, you already got convicted on what charges?
My nigga, I got convicted of kidnapping, my nigga, 5 tannerings, my nigga, 5 living off the earth, 5 living with, my nigga, 5 transport niggas. Hold on. Nigga, all that nigga. They gave a nigga life, nigga. They say, nigga, my nigga, they just foul, my nigga. You feel me? Them niggas ain't right, my nigga. Them niggas let the motherfuckers come up in there. That nigga, flew a motherfucking in, my nigga, out of state. Them niggas crazy, my nigga. You feel me?
Damn.
That's how that shit is, my nigga. Hey, the way they going about it now, they going off niggas' Facebooks, my nigga. Facebook got to deal with these motherfucking vice motherfuckers pandering team out here, nigga. What they doing is they going on niggas' Facebooks, nigga, and Facebook is sending the messages that all these niggas is hitting bitches on and all that shit, my nigga. And they ain't telling motherfuckers that they invaded their Facebook. So now they just kick back and they seen all these messages, niggas is blasting, and they getting on niggas, my nigga. You feel me? They trying to put it together like they taking domestic violence as my niggas. They turning domestic violence into first-degree kidnappings, my nigga.
So if you got a simple domestic violence, they trying to turn that into a kidnapping?
My nigga, that's all that happened, my nigga. That's all that happened, my nigga. They turning that shit into first-degree kidnapping. You and investigators get into it, my nigga, and you can grab her and throw her down, my nigga. And she slide a couple feet, my nigga. They charge niggas with first-degree kidnapping because they know the pandering don't carry nothing but a bunch of smoke. Niggas being out 12 months. The kidnappers is what get niggas live, my niggas. So they twisting the shit, you feel me? And these niggas out there, my nigga, they knowing these niggas is starving out here. And they knowing, my nigga, these bitches is foul. But yet, my nigga, they still fucking with these bitches. They be like, okay, go down there and tell on this nigga there. Fuck it, as long as you giving me something, you feel me? And my nigga, that ain't how this shit go, though, you feel me?
That's cold, Jack.
No. My nigga, them niggas is busters, my nigga. The whole time niggas been holding their nuts on a real nigga, though. Waiting on a real nigga to fall, my nigga. You know how this shit go, my nigga. Them niggas are scared from what they don't understand, nigga. When I met them niggas over a cold shot of yak, fresh out the feds, my nigga. I'm a penitentiary nigga, like this shit don't scare me, my nigga. I've been doing this shit my whole life. It's just the point, nigga, of how they twist a nigga, though. You feel me? The cold part about it is the niggas think I'm washed up, my nigga. The cold part about it is I got more action than Michael Jackson on appeal, nigga. Look, they offered me a tender life, my nigga.
1 minute remaining.
Like I'm just gonna take a tender life, my nigga, and be stuck in this motherfucker. No, let's load it up, make them bitches get up there, tell them me, I'm gonna come back on the field, nigga. Then, when I bust their head on the field, nigga, I'm gonna get out, nigga, I'm gonna pop up, nigga, I'm gonna look at niggas' face, though, nigga, let's really stare down, nigga, at a real nigga, though, you feel me?
Dude.
I'm gonna put every dollar I can up on that.
And that's how I go, but look, I'm gonna keep it real, though. Nigga, this, nigga, names, births, nigga, social, everything, nigga, all this for you, nigga. You know I'm keeping it 100 if I tell you, nigga, they put all this shit up on the screen, and the jury looking at all this shit, my nigga, looking at all these messages, like, okay, this how these niggas do it. So, nigga, I'm letting niggas know out there, my nigga, that they all over that Facebook shit, my nigga. They got messages from every nigga, my nigga. Facebook is fucking with them tough, nigga. And they on the phones. They paying motherfucking, AT&T, niggas the worst one, nigga. AT&T, Verizon, and Sprint, nigga, they paying $25, nigga. And what they doing is this. They giving them $25, right? Yeah. They got your number, and they got somebody's number. What they doing is they can get all your text messages that you sending, and the motherfucking, the companies is fucking with these people. They send them your text messages. If you text messages in the bitch or something, they gonna have all your texts, my nigga, and all that shit, my nigga. I'm telling you, they really fucking with them like that out here, my nigga. So now, only thing that they can do out here is come and party, my nigga. If a nigga ain't out here just partying, nigga, a nigga gonna get stomped off, because that's the way they doing it. But the pandering ain't what's cracking. If the nigga, you get convicted of 20 panders, that shit ain't nothing, my nigga. It's the kidnapping is what's doing. If a nigga whoop a bitch or whatever, nigga, look, all they saying is, I drug a bitch from the garage to the house, my nigga. And they giving that nigga life behind that shit, my nigga. That's how bad this shit is, you feel me?
God damn. So you saying they got all your text messages and all your Facebook messages?
Yeah, my nigga, that's what I'm trying to tell you, my nigga. They had all that shit, my nigga, and listen, these people is fucking with them like that. Nigga, they fucking with them like that. See, this is what they doing. They trying to locate a nigga, or a bitch call down there and say, okay, whoopty whoop 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 whoop. I fuck a whoopty whoop 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 whoop. The nigga going hard on. They get your name. They hit Facebook, or they get your fake name. They hit Facebook or whatever. Get all your messages you been sending on Facebook or whatever. And nigga, they get your phone number, nigga. They contact the phone company, start making deals with the phone company. They're breaking them off the phone company, sending them all the texts you've been making every day. And they just keeping records of that shit, my nigga, for months and months until they come get a nigga. You feel me?
Damn, that's some scary shit.
Facebook ain't cool. My niggas, I got all the, I got paperwork sky high, nigga. I put that shit in the manila envelope, nigga, and send that shit up out there, nigga, on everything. And you'll read that shit that niggas doing, and nigga, you'll be like, man, these niggas, I'm talking about all the niggas out there that's supposed to be having money and supposed to be stunting, them niggas bunches, my nigga. Them niggas on the side of these people, my nigga. Them niggas ain't keeping that shit 100, nigga. I mean, my thing is this, though. Nigga, I don't fuck with the police. If you fuck with the police, my nigga, then you might as well be the police. It's just the point blank range, my nigga, you feel me?
That's cold.
Why did they have her come down here and visit us, nigga? She could have said,
Okay, but from what I understand, she was the first one to call the police on you like a year or two ago, right?
18 months ago was like, listen, I need to get this nigga off the street, my nigga. And testify to that, though. And testify to that. 18 months ago was laying up sleep with a nigga, though, but on the other end, nigga, fucking with the boys, though, trying to get a nigga out the way, though.
So she called the police and said she needed to get you off the streets. At the same time, she was fucking with you and had a baby with you.
Yep, that's what I'm trying to tell you, my nigga. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you, my nigga. That's what I'm trying to, and that's what I'm trying to tell you, my nigga. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, my nigga. Get all this shit cranked up and started, my nigga. But no twist on it, my nigga. It's all their testimony could have been impeached, my nigga. They lied under oath, nigga. It's in the paperwork. I mean, everybody was in agreement that this was lying under oath, my nigga. You feel me? Yeah. I'm talking about was lying under oath, my nigga, and they still convicted me on all that shit, my nigga. Just off Facebook, though.
The only one they didn't convict you of was me.
Yeah. Just off Facebook, my nigga. You feel me?
So you saying all your convictions came off just the statements from Facebook?
And the testimony and statement.
Testimony, too. But the testimony could have been impeached. They used the Facebook to back up the bitch's testimony. You feel me?
That's
I'm trying
cold.
to tell you. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Niggas better get off Facebook out there, my nigga. And if niggas don't, niggas can't say, nigga, the boy didn't reach out and tell them, my nigga. You feel me?
Yeah, that's too real right there. That's cold.
Man, come on, my nigga. Everything I love, my nigga. That's how, hey. Then they had a YouTube video talking about an album. I come across a screen. I guess it's on YouTube. I never even seen this shit before.
1 minute remaining.
What about it? These lawyers is in bed, nigga, with the DA. I had a top gunner, nigga, the way Drasky was dope. When the top motherfuckers in the state laid down on me, like they making deals with the state. Okay, give us this nigga, but let these couple white boys go. Like they really in bed, my nigga. They hating on niggas getting money, my nigga. That's how they get down. So
What did the video have to do with the case, though?
huh?
You said it was a music video. What did it have to do with the case?
Nothing. He said that he was investigating us, and that's how when I popped up on the screen, he took interest. That's the thing all over his ass too. But I ain't been able to holler at him though.
Dig that.
If you holler at that nigga, tell him nigga they play this video in court, nigga, and they on his Facebook, nigga, and all that, nigga, and they getting his text, he can kick back. Nigga, and you can let him hear this, nigga, and I'm telling him I ain't been able to holler at him, but that's what it is.
President Obama lives in the White House with his wife and 2 lovely daughters of his own. So his stance on human trafficking is very clear. It is intolerable. Because of this, laws have been changed. Punishments have become unmerciful for a crime that many see as inhumane, with total disregard that most women have chosen the lifestyle by free will.
As president, I directed my administration to step up our efforts, and we have. For the first time, at Hillary's direction, our annual trafficking report now includes the United States, because we can't ask other nations to do what we are not doing ourselves. With more than 20 million victims of human trafficking around the world, think about that, more than 20 million. We've got a lot more to do. And that's why earlier this year I directed my administration to increase our efforts, and today I can announce a series of additional steps that we're going to take. First, we're going to do more to spot it and stop it. We'll prepare a new assessment of human trafficking in the United States so we better understand the scope and scale of the problem. We'll strengthen training so investigators and law enforcement are even better equipped to take action. And treat victims as victims, not as criminals. We're going to work with Amtrak and bus and truck inspectors so that they're on the lookout. We'll help teachers and educators spot the signs as well and better serve those who are vulnerable, especially our young people. Second, we're turning the tables on the traffickers. Just as they are now using technology and the internet to exploit their victims, we're going to harness technology to stop them. We're encouraging tech companies and advocates and law enforcement, and we're also challenging college students to develop tools that our young people can use to stay safe online and on their smartphones. Third, we'll do even more to help victims recover and rebuild their lives. We'll develop a new action plan to improve coordination across the federal government. We're increasing access to services to help